This lesson is 2-2, which is solving two-step equations. Remember, the goal in solving any equation is to try and get the letter all by itself. In two-step equations, you want to get the number that's with the letter all by itself first by getting rid of the plus whatever or minus whatever first. So if we have a question that looks like 3n minus 6 equals 15, our goal is to try and get this 3n all by itself, because then we'll get it into a one-step equation. So in order to get this 3n all by itself, we need to get rid of the minus 6. We get rid of a minus 6 by doing plus 6 and plus 6. You always want to do that opposite operation. Again, whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side of the equal sign. So that's why we're doing a plus 6 and a plus 6. These 6's cancel out or zero out. Bring down your 3n, bring down your equal sign. 15 plus 6 gives you 21. Now we just have a one-step equation. When a number and our letter are next to each other, that means times. So this really says 3 times n. The opposite of times is to divide. So I want to divide by 3 and divide by 3. Always do top divided by bottom. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Just like one-step equations, we can do checks with two-step equations as well. If I rewrite the question here, all that I'm going to do to check it is take my answer of 7 and sub it in for n. So if I have, instead of 3 times n, I'm going to have 3 times 7 minus 6 equals 15. You could take and type this exactly how it is right into the calculator. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 minus 6 gives you 15. Remember, as long as you end up with the same number on both sides of the equal sign, you know that you did your question correct. When we take a look at the next one, now this one had multiplying at the beginning. This one has dividing at the beginning. So this time we're going to try and we always try and get the number that's with the letter all by itself. So we're going to try and get this x divided by negative 3 all by itself. So we need to get rid of this plus 5. We need to get rid of the minus 5 by doing plus 5. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side. These 5's then cancel out or zero out. Bring down your x divided by negative 3. Bring down your equal sign. 1 plus 5 gives you 6. Now you just have a one-step equation. This says x divided by 3. The opposite of divided by 3 is to multiply by 3 and multiply by 3. 6 times negative 3 gives you negative 18. We can check these as well. If we take and sub in our negative 18 in for our x into our equation. So instead of, we're going to have x divided by negative 3 minus 5 equals 1. We're going to take that negative 18 and sub it in for x. So we have negative 18 divided by negative 3 minus 5 equals 1. Negative 18, you can type this right into the calculator, or we can do it parts and pieces. Negative 18 divided by negative 3 is positive 6. So then you would have 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 is 1, so 1 equals 1. It checks. As long as you get the same answer on both sides, you know you did it correct. One of the ways that they're going to try and trick you is by giving you the letter all by itself. Here's an A that's all by itself. Anytime that you have a letter that's all by itself, there's really a 1 in front of it. So this is really negative 1A. We want to try and get this negative 1A all by itself. To get that negative 1A all by itself, we need to get rid of the plus 6. We get rid of a plus 6 by doing minus 6 and minus 6. Those 6's cancel out or zero out. Bring down your negative 1A, bring down your equal sign. 8 minus 6 is 2. Now we need to divide because this says negative 1 times A. The opposite of times is to divide. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 and divide by negative 1. Always do top divided by bottom. 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. In this one, they try and trick you by writing the problem backwards. If you don't like how it's written, you can always switch around adding questions like this and make it x divided by 2 plus 3 equals 15. But you shouldn't have to do that. Our goal is to try and get the number that's with the letter all by itself. So we're going to try and get that x divided by 2 all by itself. We're going to do that by doing -3 and -3. Those 3's cancel out. Bring down your x divided by 2. Bring down your equal sign. 15 minus 3 is 12. Now you just have a one-step equation that says x divided by 2. We want to do the opposite of that, which is to multiply by 2 and multiply by 2. 12 times 2 gives us 24. In the next one, we want to try and get this 15x all by itself. So we want to get rid of this positive 3. We get rid of a positive 3. The opposite of positive is negative. So we want to do -3 and -3. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. So we have 15x when we bring it down. 48 minus 3 is 45. Now we just have a one-step equation that says 15 times x. The opposite of times is to divide. So we're going to divide by 15 and divide by 15. 45 divided by 15 is 3. Sometimes they're going to try and trick you by writing the whole problem backwards. If you don't like that this equals 10 is at the beginning, we can always move the equals 10. We can always move the equals 10 to the end, so that we have 2x minus 4 equals 10. So we can move it to the end like that if we want to, but we don't have to. If we would want to try and get this 2x all by itself. So we got to get rid of that -4 by doing +4 and +4. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other. Those 4's cancel out or zero out. 10 plus 4 is 14. Bring down your equal sign, bring down your 2x. This says 2 times x. The opposite of times is divide. So I want to divide by 2 and divide by 2. 14 divided by 2 gives us 7. If you did solve it the other way with the equals 10 on the other side, you would have ended up getting x equals 7 instead of 7 equals x. That is the same exact answer. Try another one. -2 plus 3x equals 7. I want to try and get this 3x all by itself. So I got to get rid of that -2. I get rid of a -2 by doing +2 and +2. Those 2's cancel out or zero out. Bring down your 3x, bring down your equal sign. 7 plus 2 gives you 9. This says 3 times x. The opposite of times is to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3. Top divided by bottom, 9 divided by 3 is 3. One last one. We want to try and get this x divided by 2 all by itself. So I need to get rid of the -4. I get rid of the -4 by doing +4 and +4. These 4's cancel out. 12 plus 4 gives me 16. Bring down my equal sign, bring down my x divided by 2. This says x divided by 2. The opposite of divided by 2 is to multiply by 2. And multiply by 2. These 2's cancel out. 2 times 16 is 32. So again, this was solving two-step equations. You always want to get rid of your plus whatever or minus whatever first to get the number with the letter all by itself.